Now on to some of the worst moments in this journey. One of them that really just glares on in front of me is when the bomb blast happened many years ago, and this was a dark moment, for the country, for us as a people, and also for business owners. Because in fact, I remember my office. That was actually my first office. Was right in the middle of the action. Lost a lot of equipment. Actually, we lost business for I think a year and a half. We couldn't even do business in that building, so we had to devise ways of being able to attend to our clients. In fact, that's how we also started doing home lessons. You see, so something good came out of it. We started thinking about starting other centers as well. When I lost my first child, I remember feeling so dejected, and I didn't know how badly things would go for me, health-wise. And I had a battle with a chronic condition that affected me for quite a long time, and in and out of hospital, going through different medication, and just really having to do my business with a body that is not healthy, at all times has been one of the most difficult things I've done in my life. And yet I've had to sojourn on because this is my business. I'm a fighter, and I just thank God, by the grace of God, that I've managed this far, and at least thankfully, I'm on my way to recovery. But it has been quite a journey. There have also been cases of business gone bad. Of course, as an entrepreneur, you always try to get other opportunities to bring in cash revenue, so that you can maintain the main business. And one of the things we do is hire out our instruments. And I remember there's a time we were caught up in a situation where our instruments were auctioned through a person who had hired them from us. And by the time we came to know that they were auctioned, because I think he was having cash flow problems, then it was too late. So we lost this equipment, and we were never able to recover, because unfortunately or fortunately, this person was also our friend, and eventually we just decided to let it go and support him actually instead, so that he can come up again. A good business is also run on the basis of trust. And of course, our loyal clients, it reaches a point where, as much as we have got policies that govern how we do our operations, sometimes there are times when you have got to give some leeway. For example, in terms of, payment delays. There are times those payment delays by clients are inevitable. Of course, we try to avoid them. And sometimes, it's not that easy to say no to a client who has been paying and coming consistently. Unfortunately, we've had clients who have taken us for a ride as far as this is concerned. They promise they're going to pay in due course of time, and we have an agreement, and then they default. So these are very bad moments, because they make you feel a little bit, you feel dejected, and you wonder whether you should continue trusting people or not. But then again, as everything else, thankfully we rise up. One of the epic mistakes a business owner should never do is to let other people run your business, or run the main part of your business. We learned the hard way, my husband and I, when in the whole process of expansion, we left one of our centers, our first center, to be run by people we had trained. Then we realized slowly by slowly it ran down. So this was really not good, but we learned from that. It's also not a good feeling when a teacher walks out on you, or an employee that you've trusted with some responsibilities, and they leave you at a time when you need them most, or and in some instances even going away with clients. Those are some bad moments. But again, human beings are to error, so we have to appreciate that sometimes people have to do what they've got to do, only that it leaves a bad taste in your mouth. And of course, life has to go on. Also, when a student fails an exam, it's not very easy to tell them that they failed. Yet at the same time, one of the things that we encourage those who maybe might not have made it is that they should look at the process rather than the end result. You know, if they've been through a process that has moved them forward as far as their education is concerned, probably by the time the exam was coming, they needed a little bit more time. So sometimes we just encourage, go do the exam, at least get some feedback from somebody else who's not your teacher, and then know the areas that you need to improve. And here are some funny moments. Of course, some of them were not funny at the time they were happening, but eventually, you know, you laugh them off. For example, when you're on stage and you're accompanying someone and the piece of music falls away, you know, off the piano, wow, that can be a run for dear life, because just the whole process of collecting yourself together and getting on with the performance, you know, it's serious, but it's funny at the same time. I remember at a particular performance when I was so excited to do this particular performance, but I was also nervous. And you know, you go on stage, you have all these lines in your head that you've got to memorize, that you have memorized, and in the middle of a verse, you just suddenly go blank, and you're thinking, oh my goodness, I can't be making a fool out of myself in front of everyone. So those are tricky moments. Again, very funny moments at the end of it. But I remember one particular time when I just created a whole verse, and I realized, oh, okay, I'm not a bad composer after all. And luckily enough, nobody seemed to notice that I'd lost my words. And from these experiences, I've always told my students, you must give room for spontaneity. I think this crowns the funny moments. Let me know what you think. Imagine I've been invited to lead praise and worship at a Sunday service. So after I've led, you know, praise and worship with so much energy, everyone is happy. Then now when it was time to go and sit so that the service can move on to something else, I just found myself, I sat so hard on the chair. I think it was the adrenaline that I took onto the chair. And when I just sat so hard, what happened? I just had myself tumbling down and my feet, you know, went up. Thankfully, I was in a long dress, so at least it was not as embarrassing as it could have been. But what amazes me to this day is how calm I remained and how quickly I collected myself to sit back properly. And I think this for me was just too funny. So the lessons learned from these experiences for me have been, you know, several lessons, and different lessons keep coming up. But at least a couple of these lessons include, when you institutionalize things, you have greater impact. It's always easier to go the self way, you know, when you do things for yourself, because I had the options to just stay employed and fend for myself and my immediate family. But at the same time, I've hung on to the idea that it's better to have an institution, because that way then you grow more people and it becomes more of a blessing, even when you, despite the challenges that come along the way, the investment, because it's quite heavy to invest in people, but at the same time the fruits are far rewarding. And then also, you know, the whole thing about just appreciating all the things that come along the way, the experiences. I mean, life is made up of ups and downs. So it's important, just as much as you look forward to having the wonderful moments, that you also appreciate the down moments that actually grow you into a better person. And I have actually learned that from every experience, no matter how hard the experience was, what have I learned? You know, find out what is that thing that will make you better, so that probably you can avoid the same mistakes, doing the same mistakes, or at least then you can use those experiences to teach other people so that they can avoid making those mistakes. And all in all, I'm just grateful for the opportunity I have had to do what I have done for this long. I mean, God has been so kind and faithful, because it's been a number of years of hard work, staying focused. And I'm just glad that when I look back and see all the achievements that I have made as an educator, then I smile and I encourage other people who are starting their journey of life in terms of business and or whatever career they are doing, not to let bad moments discourage you. For in everything there's always a reason, and there's always a growth process. So if you take it like that and stay positive, then you will do well. In the next episode, I'm going to be talking about music and family. Please do remember to like, share, leave a comment, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel, Winnie the Music Educator.